Hey everybody, so today I want to talk about the spread operator and why it's even a thing. So to get everything started, let's say let R equals an array, and it's going to be 1, 2, and 3. So if I console log this array, first let's go ahead and type it right. You know what's going to happen. I'm going to say node app.js, and you're going to get back an array that is 1, 2, and 3. So just to kind of get a little bit dip our toes in the waters of what this spread operator is doing, let's save this and say node app.js, and now we see that it's not an array, it's actually 3 separate values, 1, 2, and 3. And you may think that those are the values inside of this array, but it's actually a copy of those values, meant specifically for a reassignment. So what am I even talking about? Because that already sounds really weird, right? So let me say, just to demonstrate what that spread operator is doing and what I mean by for reassignment, let me say let R2 equal R1. All right, and now let's console log R2. All right, let's run node app.js, and well, because that needs to be actually just array. So probably just like you would expect, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now I'm imagining I just made a copy of array, and now let's start playing around with R2, and let's push a new number to it. Let's push 4, for instance, and let's console log, and we can see what happens. This is totally what we expected. 1, 2, 3, and 4. But the thing is, we kind of forgot about the array up here. Last time we saw it, it was 1, 2, and 3. Well, let's go ahead and run this console log to see that it is also now the same as array 2. Maybe that's not what you meant to do, but that's what JavaScript sees. This sees that these are the same things. You mutate this one, you're mutating this one. Well, that's where the spread operator comes into play. So if I say ... it's no, let's go ahead and put this in an array. And then when I spread the values inside the array, which are copies of what's going on here, I can go ahead and console log this to see that now I'm able to mutate this array too without affecting that original array. Okay, so that was spreading an array. Now let's talk about destructuring an array. And let's just start from scratch, get rid of all this. And so you know what a basic array looks like, how to assign that to a variable. But let me show you something a little bit interesting, which is how we can assign to variables but by destructuring instead. I'm going to start up this array, these array brackets, and I'm going to say A, B, and C. And what that's going to equal is an array that is 1, 2, and 3. And just looking at this, it's really odd, right? So let's just try to log and see what is happening. I'm going to console log A. As a matter of fact, let's just console log everything here. So console log A, that'll be for B, and this will be for C. So when I say node app.js, you can see that it's 1, 2, and 3. So what it did was it assigned this value 1 to this variable over here named A, 2 to B, and 3 over to C, which is really cool, but typically maybe not how you would see it. More often than not, you'll probably have a function called something that is going to return an array that probably has some values in here, maybe true, and let's just make this a function that console logs hello. Okay, so now instead of having this array directly, what you'll probably end up seeing is a function right here that looks like it has this array before, and what it's doing is it's assigning variables that's being returned to the variable right here, assigning values. So in this case, we've got 2 cases in here, so let's get rid of that C. All right, and now at this point, I can console log A, and let's see what we get. To get this true value, that makes sense. That was the first thing returned in the array that was returned back. And now let's use B to see now that works just like the function going on inside here. And what we did was we destructured the returned array to assign him to variables here. So the reason why I think this is really important, because at this point, you're starting to look a lot like a React hook. And this line right here is pretty much how we have state in a pure component nowadays.